Hi, I'm Pamela, and I want to talk to you today about feminism and women in our culture and how we can create change for young girls. Throughout history, um, women have had to fight for equality and to have the same opportunities as men, and women had to fight to vote, not to be abused, not to be treated as property. Women have also wanted to have equal pay and power, equal power in the workplace. Some of the inequality issues are still happening today. So we all need to take a deeper look into momentary victory for ourselves to create a real and lasting solution that goes way beyond a women's march. Awareness of our culture, conditioning, worldviews, and stereotypes is an essential aspect of creating real and lasting change in our society. As it is, women have realized more equality with every generation, and yet there's still more work to be done. The goal would be to uncover some of the reasons why women are still receiving the messages that they are second-class citizens. What can be done to gain equality? Currently, women are still experiencing a wage disproportion, and they are bombarded with messages daily about how they are supposed to look, feel, and act through such channels as advertising, television, and societal expectations. Just imagine a whole community of people where everything was shared in an equal manner. Imagine there are no divisions between men and women, and everyone held the same status, even with wealth. One of the first known settlements in human history was discovered in Catalhoyuk, Turkey, and that is how they lived. When a child was born, they might go and be fostered by others in the community. Men equally shared the labor with women, and women were also revered for their power and fertility. Everything began to change with agriculture, and the divisions of gender became more apparent. Women gradually became second-class citizens and property of their husbands. Dr. Amanda Foreman, historian and biographer, believes having knowledge of the history and changes of women are of extreme importance. She speaks about many of the women along with their stories, how they wrote their own history, and how they created change in the world. In her film, The Ascent of Women. One of the women she spoke about was Millicent Fawcett, who fought for and helped created the first women's college and also campaigned for women to have the right to vote. Dr. Stroink conveys the idea that gender roles today can be conflicting and confusing. For instance, parents may be encouraging their daughters to get a higher education, stand on their own 2 feet, be powerful, and go for what they want. At the same time, societal messages are telling a different story. She should look a certain way, act a certain way, be nurturing and loving, and feel satisfied by that. This can create an internal split unless she has the ability to ignore what society deems normal for her and follow her own compass. Okay. The way women are portrayed in film and advertising influences how they are viewed in the workforce and by society as a whole. Reese Witherspoon has been an actress since she was 14 years old and was sick and tired of the roles available to women because they're not accurate. Witherspoon started her own production company with her own money and set out to prove her point. There are many other women following that lead, and she is working hard toward creating solutions for women and societal expectations. In an interview with Katie Couric, the actress Gina Davis said, "The more hours a girl watches television, the more her options are limited. And the more a boy watches television, the more he becomes sexist." Correspondingly, body image being targeted in films and advertising ultimately gets carried into the home. Dr. Cynthia Bullock has been conducting research and treating individuals with eating disorders for more than 2 decades. Bullock broaches the subject of self-image among teenagers, especially girls going through puberty. The problem with body image or self-image is that it can carry all the way into their adult life. She writes about how relatives, peers, parents, and people in general talk about their appearance or weight, leaving them with devastating emotional and physical aspects. I spoke with Eric Altman, who has worked with many people, many women, as well as couples over the years. He has been a great deal, he has a great deal of knowledge about the energetic patterns that take place. We spoke about how people have an instinct to go towards what is already happening. So clarity around that would help with the imbalance on both ends for men and women. Listening to what it is we say or want. Where are we not getting satisfied? Instead of pointing the finger at someone else. Learn not to take yourself so seriously. Altman continues by discussing the idea that deep patterns run in everyone, so the tendency to go back and be smaller, withdraw, or withhold so it is not benefiting anyone at the highest level. We need to allow ourselves to be the biggest, brightest self in the expression we are yearning for all the time. We should be open to constructive criticism and allow more light to shine on any and all areas of our life. It is imperative that women jump into their lives all the way to be seen and heard as equals to men. If women can keep persevering, it can smooth edges out at some point, but be bumpy along the way. Every person can relate with that. Women have to trust themselves so the message can permeate whoever is listening. Anytime we see action instead of just words, or embodying what we actually want to do or be demonstrated in authentic ways, it captures everyone's attention. Altman believes when we gather as groups, such as the last Women's March, there is a pushing against the edge, against the usual, and to trust it. As individuals, after the fact, we can take a more active role and be part of the game and be more dynamic as opposed to watching. This is a critical aspect. When expansion and change are happening, we don't know what to do as a species. Each step is dynamically different than the last. It is important to keep moving and be inspired by our own hearts and trust, because we don't know what is really going to happen. When we move towards things we don't understand for benefit of men and women, we become agents of change. Feel funky, feel awkward, whatever it is, so refinement can happen. If we can honor each other as a gender and collaborate together, growth can happen, bringing everything to light. Even the way women are depicted in advertising and television wouldn't make it to the critical mass if it wasn't happening at a grassroots level. That could not happen if we weren't embodying these ideas or beliefs about women ourselves. People must decide where they want to focus their energy. There is no greater a time in history to be a woman. There are more women in politics and government positions, more women business owners, and more education for women. Women must continue to push the boundaries that have been created by society in order to break free and achieve equality. More women are taking courageous stands for change in all areas as our generational understanding continues to slowly shift with greater awareness and awakening to their power. Now, I began to notice after doing all this research on feminism and women's rights, I began to notice like how women, not all women, of course, but a lot of women don't support each other. And so that needs to happen too. And so I had an idea that takes some of this information and put it weave it in with other things in a book for tweens, because it's such a critical period in a girl's life. So they're already getting messages from their peers and from media how they should look and act. I want them to get a different message, and it needs to start early. To know it's all right to be who they naturally are and to be able to expand their worlds from there. These girls would have a greater chance of not carrying the baggage we have for so long and have an even greater life, a life of freedom and equality. So I hope I can make that happen soon, and be looking for my book. Thank you very much.